Hey there. So I'm going to pull some messages. Okay, let's ask our angels, saints, ancestors, and spirit guides into our space for divine messages. All right, we are surrounded in divine white light and love, and so it is. Tap in. Let me know you're here and you're present and you're wanting to receive a message. Okay, so tapping in can mean connecting, saying yes. It can also mean being in a position to allow. All right, so let things kind of come to you. You can also like, share, comment, and subscribe if you would like to help support the channel. All right, so let's see what we got here. Bottom of the deck energy is the Nine of Pentacles. So you're looking pretty. All right, you're in a really good position, and this could be masculine or feminine. But what I'm getting is that, like, you didn't get here without some challenges, all right? And you're in the position now because you've had those life experiences that have led you to this pivotal moment, and you're embracing what is, okay, not what isn't. You're appreciating your surroundings, you're appreciating how you got to where you're at, whether it was a positive experience or a difficult one. I feel like you're in the position to be like, you know, it's all worth it in the end. And so there's this energy about you. All right, so you're like glowing. You could be glowing. You could have had a glow up. You could be someone who has like a bit of a bubbly kind of personality too, so you can kind of light up a room. So let's see what else. It's like you're stable, you're secure, you're independent. You speak the truth. You also have strong clarity. You have strong discernment. You're willing to hear people out because you tend to be someone who's unbiased, neutral even. And the sword's in the upright, and it's kind of giving me like you have a strong ability to connect to higher consciousness. And so depending how people come to you, right? Like you better come correct, right? Because the sword be sharp. The sword be sharp. This can talk also about air signs. Okay, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I have Temperance here. So I'm getting that there's this harmonizing about you. There's this alchemy about you. There's this like being able to see the bright side of things. And if you don't see the bright side of something immediately, I would say that it's something that you get to by the end of a situation. You're able to kind of like take the good with the bad and make the best of it. And that's a beautiful trait and character. And I feel like that's something that you've learned along the way. And then I have the Star card at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like you've learned to pour into your own cup instead of like pouring yourself out and it not being reciprocated. There might have been a need for you to prioritize yourself and choose things wisely as well. Like this is a very wise energy, Queen of Swords. Sometimes cutting, sometimes blunt, sometimes a little bit fresh. I want to say fresh. With Temperance here, I'm getting that you could feel and have strong spiritual connections. So this could be religious or spiritual, okay, one or the other. But I feel like there's this healing energy about you. So you might be someone who, you know, is someone that people come to for that specifically. Sometimes you hear the collective talk about Temperance as being like the earth angel. So that might resonate for some of you. Okay, let's see what else we got. Six of Cups. You are loved far and wide, okay? And you have this like sweetness about you. So when you do come across people or memories from people who know you or have known you, or I feel like you tend to leave people there with good memories of you. You're somebody who operates from the heart, right? So you may have also had past relationships, right? That, you know, you might have felt like you had to do a bit of defending. Maybe there was a bit of overgiving, and it could have been with a past person, or this could have something to do with like family ties, even children. But I'm getting like, this kind of reminds me of like a soul, like a deep soul relationship with the temperance. I'm getting like deeply rooted, okay? Something that might have like been related to the past too. So we'll get more on that. So there could be like remembering a past life, or remembering past experiences. There could be even remembering childhood, or having some sort of fondness of some kind. Okay, but the star energy here, let me just cover them up, is, you know, the healer energy, like someone here to help for like the greater cause too. But sometimes it can be to a point of depletion, as well as to a point of excess. And so you do have support, you do have, you know, support. So I'm getting like, sometimes we have to learn that not everybody deserves our magic. And you very much could be a healer here, or you've gone through a lot of healing yourself, maybe from past relationships or your childhood trauma. But I'm getting like, this is something that you've learned to harmonize for yourself. And since you've learned to harmonize it and alchemize it yourself, you're very much could share this with other people. It's almost like the teacher, okay? So you could be teaching others how to kind of process their own emotions when it comes to their childhood trauma, and to find a way to see the bright side of things, and find a way to have a higher perspective about it. So that also can be something that's being illuminated here, is the Hermit, Virgo. The Hermit is someone who typically goes within for guidance, right? Tends to be a loner, somebody who kind of like does what they need to do behind closed doors, someone who's a bit recluse even. You might have been recluse for a while. There is something that's being highlighted here, and this could be like things that maybe transpired in the past that clarity is being brought to. So I'm getting like clarity, insight, knowing, okay, truth. And I'm getting like there's something being called out specifically here. So we'll get some more information on that. But I feel like there was some sort of like, this also could be like a spirit guide energy. This could be you being guided on your path since you were a child. Maybe your light's always been bright. Okay, healer energy is still at the bottom of the deck. So, you know, you might have gone through quite a lot. And I feel like you're finally like seeing who you truly are and why you experienced what you experienced. That too. We'll see. Yeah. You could resonate with being a wise old soul. And you've had many lives, okay? I mean, this goes way back, way back. King of Cups, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, okay? And then we have a Three of Pentacles. So what's this about? This could talk about a commitment. This could talk about working with someone else towards a common goal. Power of 3. So it's something that hasn't quite happened yet. 3, you know, any of the earlier numbers like 1, 2, and 3s in the tarot is like things are starting to be created, okay? With the Sun card, I am getting that, you know, this is a divine energy here. This is a vitality, right? Strong divine presence, godlike presence here, child of the divine. All right, so you could also now have the realization of being a wise old soul, volunteering to have an incarnation here, and you have been protected and supported your whole life through childhood, and it's like now you're in the rightful position. It's like it's time for you to take your throne. So I feel like there has been like this energy about you. It's almost like everybody else saw it but you kind of energy, right? High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. So, you know, there could be an energy that's kind of like hiding, but they're going to be coming to the surface soon. So I feel like there's something that's coming to awareness. King of Pentacles, King of Swords. We have a King of Cups, King of Swords, and a King of Pentacles. All right, so we'll see who these energies are. And a Queen of Wands. I'm gonna get a few more cards. Ooh, Four of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. And then we have a 10 of Wands and a 3 of Pentacles. There's that 3 of Pentacles that we were talking about. So let's discuss with the King of Swords. King and Queen of Swords are a match, okay? So what I'm getting is there's this King of Pentacles here that has a connection to a Queen of Wands. And I have a 4 of Pentacles. So this tells me that someone is holding on to like a false sense of security. And they very much could be holding on to this feminine energy, or being in this feminine energy, like this, a bit witchy, if you will, for the sake of stability, security, and financial gain. I feel like somebody might have chosen to be with some other person, place, or thing. I'm getting like there was a commitment made here. There was an agreement here, some sort of contract. So someone is feeling very burdened by the contracts that they have made. And I'm getting like it has something to do with this Queen of Wands. Mind you, collective, you could either be the masculines that I'm picking up on in this reading, or you could be the feminine energies that I'm picking up on this reading. Okay? So take it how it resonates for you. I'm getting like someone feels like they've been slighted, like it's almost like they're not understanding the reason why things are playing out the way they're playing out. They could be getting some sort of download or information or some sort of awareness, but what I'm getting is like someone is feeling extremely burdened by what they've agreed to, what they have chosen, what they are holding on to. So I feel like someone's holding on to something for the sake of personal stability, security, and gain, okay? And then I also have this King of Swords, and I have the Hierophant after that. So there is some sort of spiritual lesson playing out here, and with this King of Swords, it's like this energy, these energies are being like, there's like this being overseen. There's like some sort of divine or someone coming in that has something to say. I feel like there's some truth to be revealed here. Again, like the sword's a bit slighted to one side, so there could be a bit bias here. So they very much could know or have some sort of perspective about one of the many people involved in this reading. Someone's, you know, in an energy of being burdened by something here that they've agreed to. All right, I feel like they could be stuck in the situation in the sense of like it could be a marriage, it could be they bought a house together, it could be, you know, it wasn't all that they thought it was going to be. Like, you know, it's they're feeling burdened and overwhelmed. Okay, so there's that energy. Someone feeling very overwhelmed. I feel like you were able to see or receive some sort of clarity, because this is where we began. And now I feel like this is confirmation. I feel like there could be things like truth being revealed here about maybe energy you've dealt with in the past, okay? So the 2 kings and the queen, I'm also getting this queen could be engaging with another masculine, okay? But I'm getting this King of Cups is maybe the one that they're in the commitment with, but I feel like there's someone else who has more abundance, and I'm getting like the Queen of Wands is really interested in that, because maybe, again, like someone feels like they're owed something, or right, like someone feels like they're owed something, or something they didn't receive what they wanted, or this is more than what they bargained for, is what I'm getting. All right, so there's this, someone feels burdened by this experience here, and maybe they're trying to think of a way to get out of it, okay? But I'm getting like there's a contract here that needs to be fulfilled, okay? Yeah, and then we have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is protecting this Queen of Swords. Okay, so I'm getting like King of Swords, Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords. That's a whole lot of swords. And, you know, this sword is, you know, coming from, you know, like the sky. So it's very, it's a high perspective. It's truth, it's clarity, it's insight, it's a knowing. So I'm getting like this Queen of Swords has knowing of some kind, and maybe speaking some truth about what truly happened to maybe some sort of family dynamic or something that they may have been building towards, but as a result of what's been going on, you know, I'm getting like this didn't pan out, this didn't happen, it didn't come to fruition. Someone had a choice in love, and this is, you know, again, like getting someone is feeling, someone's receiving truth about a connection that they're currently in. And I'm getting like they're not the only one receiving the information. I'm getting like there's others now seeing this, because with the Hermit, like the light's on, like there's no more ignoring this, is what I'm getting. Yeah, there's no more ignoring this. All right. Yeah, someone that you might have been dealing with in the past. 6-6. And the Lovers, 6-6-6. Okay, 3 6s. So someone you might have been dealing with in the past was breadcrumbing you and giving to others. Okay, giving to multiples. And so maybe there was some lies about what truly happened. I'm getting the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out for all to see and know. Four of Swords for this King of Cups. So there's some sort of like healing needed in a situation, or some sort of mental health potentially. I'm also getting like it could be somebody who is feeling the need to stay to themselves. Maybe there's, again, I was picking up overwhelm over here. So they very much could be someone who's praying now, or meditating, or going within to receive information and guidance. Or they could be not feeling well or doing well, is also what I'm getting. All right, the next card is the Sun. So again, clarity, all right? Page of Cups. I feel like there could be energy out there finding out the truth and realizing like maybe someone deserves some sort of acknowledgement of some kind, maybe for what they went through at the hands of maybe someone else. There also could be someone feeling bad about how they handled themselves in a situation, and they may want to make things right. This also can be someone else coming into your energy who has some sort of feelings about you. So we'll see what this is. I feel like they, regardless of what you experienced in the past, there's this energy of like you being optimistic about love. Because not everybody's like this person or this experience, right? Like, so, Strength card in reverse. Yeah, I would get like this King of Pentacles and this Queen of Wands. I feel like there could be a lack of confidence or courage. Maybe there's a need for forgiveness, because that is next to the Page of Cups. I feel like someone never apologized for what has transpired for the sake of personal gain, pride, and ego is also what I'm getting. Someone's a coward, in other words. Someone lacks strength and integrity because they would literally do anything for money. And so I'm getting that. I'm getting that, like, maybe there's this awareness now. Maybe people who know them or know you are seeing this person for who they truly are and what they will do for money. So it's almost like they will go to no, like they'll go to no end, right? Like maybe they never thought that this person would be like that or was like that. Maybe they had some sort of false narrative or illusion about them. But behind the scenes, I'm getting like they do the most, even to those who they say they love and care about. Like they will go to no end to betray, defame, slander, and lie. And not take any accountability or responsibility for it. So I'm also getting that. And then also with this Strength in reverse, I'm also getting like they lacked compassion, they lacked empathy, they may be very emotionally immature and stunted. And as a result, like they don't have the know-how to handle a situation in a way that would be mature. And so they continue to operate in this energy and they continue to make bad decisions. And as a result of these decisions and choices, specifically when it comes to relationships with other people, you know, they choose to, you know, like want to cower over people and try to portray like they're better than everybody else kind of energy. And so they kind of abuse their power. And they also abuse a bit of their energy. Justice at the bottom of the deck. Okay, we're taking all three? Okay. All right, where are we going with this? I feel like there is some sort of sense of completion or acknowledgement that what's been done is done. And this is the World card. And it's clarifying the Queen of Wands for this reading. And so what I'm getting is that like whoever is in this Queen of Wands energy, it could be a masculine, it doesn't have to be a feminine. You know, their ability to continue doing what they're doing, I'm getting like there's some sort of ending to this. There's some sort of like, maybe they're finally seeing the truth in this person. And it's also part of like a lesson being completed too. So there is this sense of like things coming full circle. And I'm getting like 4-4 is relevant. The 4 of Cups is clarifying the 4 of Pentacles. I'm getting like someone is in an energy of like nothing works out for me. Like why even bother, right? No matter what I do, right? I'm getting like this energy. It's almost like they invest a little, but not enough. And because they only invest a little, it's like the other energy has to invest more than them. And that makes things unbalanced, because I'm seeing like all the sixes. I have 6, 6, 6, and then I have 4, 4. So I'm getting like, that adds up to 10, but the 4 and the 6s, like, they're not equal, right? There's an energy giving love, giving, you know, energy to a situation more than the other person. And I feel like this is something that, you know, results from a lack mindset, okay? Feeling like not enough, feeling like not good enough, or not measuring up in some way, or having difficulty with managing our feelings and our emotions and how those affect our physical reality. So there's a bit of that, like, you know, not, you can't always blame everybody else, okay? I feel like there's a bit of that. There's like this, it's everybody else's fault but mine, and here I'm ended up in this situation because of someone else. Like, no, you ended up in this situation because of you and your decisions and your actions. So there's a bit of that. Okay, and there's like the 4 swords right above the 2 4s of the 4 pentacles and the 4 of cups. So I also have 4, 4, 4. And then I have the star card, and this is clarifying the 9 of wands. And again, like, I feel like eventually this person will get it. They will see like, okay, like, maybe all of this was for me in the end, but they have a free will choice whether they want to allow the experiences that they've had, which are being represented by the wands, experiences, lessons, whatever you want to call it, obstacles, challenges. It's like you can either add this to what's already behind you to complete something. It's like you've gone through the experiences and now you have something to show for it and you're a better person for it. Or you can look at all these wands as if they are a barrier or a blockage. It's like choosing how you see things and how you use them, because, you know, there is this like, we all have difficulties in life that we need to overcome, and it's like this person weaponizes it instead of like using it as a way to grow and develop. Okay. And then the star card is telling me like there's hope, right? Maybe there's an energy feeling a bit hopeless, like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I feel like they're a bit losing hope, right? So maybe there's a need to kind of like pour within themselves to regain hope. Not all is lost. All right, and then we have, again, justice still. There's this healing energy that's needed here after going through a battle. All right, so maybe this experience that they've entered into that, you know, taught them a lot. I feel like they're going through their own like karmic lessons here. All right, it's for the purpose of healing. It's for the purpose of growth. Then I have the death card. This is an ego death. I feel like what's happening here is that this person is overwhelmed and burdened by everything that they've experienced. And then there's a need to put the burdens down and accept that there is an ending to something once and for all. And it's an ego death. It's like realizing that like letting the ego get the best of the situations in yourself has really created, you know, things that are needing for you to kind of like, there's a reset needed. There's a rebirth, a death and a rebirth here. And here's the Fool, right? So it's kind of like learning the lessons of life, right? And reaching a point where, you know, something needs to change. And sometimes we resist change. We fight change. We blame everybody else because we don't want to change. But I'm getting like, this person is going to be forced to make changes in their life, whether they like it or not. Okay, and so they may be reluctant, but I'm getting that like it's better on the other side of this with the Fool card. Okay. Ay. Are we taking that one? No. Okay. So 3 of Pentacles in the Chariot. I'm getting like after this ego death happens, they're going to feel compelled in some way to maybe step into their purpose and accept the responsibilities that they made agreements to come here to help humanity in some way, shape, or form. They may have rejected this in the past and chose the karmic route because they didn't want to do the healing work. All right. And so I'm getting like they're going to be forced to do this. And, you know, there is the Chariot and the 3 of Pentacles. So I'm getting like they're meant to work with others. Okay. They volunteered to be here to have a physical experience, but they are also someone from a higher, it's almost like them accepting their higher selves, right? It's kind of like once the ego kind of sits down and takes a back seat, then the higher self steps in and kind of aligns you to where you're meant to be, like what you're here for, right? Like you didn't come here for nothing, right? Like you're going to learn that you came here for something. And so I'm getting like that's part of the awakening process. So there's a bit of a spiritual awakening playing out here, okay, for the collective. For those who are finishing up karmic cycles, okay, they're going to be going through their awakenings. And collectively, we're all going through awakenings in our own way and in our own timelines. 2 of Cups. Hey now. 5 of Swords. Yeah, I felt like, whew, I had to defend myself real quick. Yeah. Yeah, look. Oh my goodness gracious. They may, after this experience, want to come back to you because they know that you've been through it and you know how things go. So they may have like done a lot of shit talking about you as you were going through your process. And now they're about to go through theirs, and they may actually need to come to you for help or guidance or support, or they're feeling like, you know, or they may want to fight it the whole way. Right? I feel like they may, like I said, like they were shit talking about you, right? There could be some offer on its way to you, but I feel like it's slow moving. All right. So just be patient. Good things are worth waiting for. And I'm getting like this very much could be a union of some kind, some sort of partnership, right? So I'm getting like, you know, the lessons learned here were to awaken you. And so the lessons that they're receiving will be to awaken them. And then you are being aligned, okay, spiritually aligned, divinely aligned with a partner, right? They are on their way to you, okay? This is clarifying the Lovers. And then I have the 5 of Swords. Keep this experience to yourself, okay? Yeah. It is what you desire. It is what you want. It's what you've manifested. So this is like a manifestation is on its way to you. So keep this to yourself because there's energy out there that would very much like to take it for themselves. Okay. So just keep it to yourself. Remember the Hermit energy. Okay. I feel like this is something that's kind of like coming to completion, right? Like part of the justice here is that you do receive the love that you desire and deserve. And that is what's coming in. And I'm also getting like, there's an energy here that is going to be going through the healing process, King of Cups, that is going to be watching, observing, and learning from you from afar. All right. Or there could be others that are interested. It's kind of like watching, like maybe having to look over a shoulder kind of thing. Like, instead of focusing their own life, they're too busy looking to see what's going on with yours. Again, you could be in the spotlight. You could be somebody that people watch. You could be somebody that people check your socials to see what you're up to. So I feel like there's that energy. You wanted that one out, huh? Page of Pentacles. And then we have the Six of Swords. There's an offer coming in. All right, there's a new opportunity here. I feel like it is going to be something that puts you in a different direction than where you're currently at. Okay, something that is taking you away from the drama, the rough seas, the rough waters, into something that's more calm and serene. Empress at the bottom of the deck. So that's who we're talking about. That's who this is, who we're talking about, that is being moved to calmer waters, and there's an offer incoming. And I'm getting like this Knight of Pentacles is the one bringing the offer. Okay, so this is someone who's, you know, a knight in shining armor. And for some of you. Okay. Yeah, there's this making wise investments, right? And making sure that like what we're working really hard on is going to bear fruit, right? It seems like there's a pile up on the highway over here and this person doesn't know what to do with it. So I'm getting like, there could be like assistance, right? There could be someone coming in to bring in some sort of assistance. Maybe that's how it begins. Maybe they need your assistance, right? Maybe they've got all this going on and they're like, okay, like I need help with this, right? Because the Seven of Pentacles plus the Page equals 8 Pentacles. And usually the 8 of Pentacles talks about like self-mastery. So, you know, you might be moving to work on something that is something you've been doing to master. Like you could be mastering something. And maybe this energy needs help, or you're the one that's getting the help. We'll see. Look at, here's the 8 of Pentacles. I can't make it up. Yeah, I'm getting that like, you know, you're mastering a skill here. There's something that you've been doing consistently that is bearing fruit, right? You've made wise investments. And there's an energy here realizing that maybe they didn't. And so they're watching because they're learning, whether they want to admit it or not. Okay, so with the 8 of Pentacles, it's you know, doing something that you were called to do, right? It's something that like you're doing on your own. Okay, it's independent work, it's independent contribution. I am getting Judgment. It's on the floor, but a Judgment is here. So there's some sort of like instead of paying so much attention on what someone else is doing with their life, why don't you focus on yours kind of energy, right? There's been a whole ton done against a star, okay? And there's Judgment playing out for that energy. There's this like having to do a self-evaluation, all right? And Judgment is clarifying the 9 of Wands, the star, and this is, you know, like not all of this, you know, was against you. It was for you, and it's to help you heal, right? There are things that keep repeating, and there's a cause for change here. And there's this like self-evaluation needed so that healing can take place and forgiveness. and releasing yourself from the past, right? Like, we're not meant to carry these bag of bricks with us everywhere, right? We do have the Two of Wands, and it's in reverse. I feel like they're not going to be able to move on until this happens. There's something that they're needing to deal with and experience before they can move on. I feel like they made the conscious choices and took the actions, but they don't want to be responsible for any of those. And as a result, like, they're not able to get out of a situation or move on from something until that happens. Empress and at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, look at Knight of Cups. They would very much like to bring in an offer, but they will be stopped. They're not able to bring the offer, even though they would like to. And it's because they haven't taken accountability. They haven't done the healing work. Therefore, they can't come towards you. There will be no new beginning. There will be no offer. All right, with Justice here, I'm getting that there are things that they need to take a step back from so that they can understand things fully, gain a new perspective and outlook before any other love offers are happening, right? Like, going from one to the other is not helping the situation. They're just perpetuating it further, okay? I feel like they need to find love for themselves before they can give love to anyone else. And it's kind of like they're being stopped and halted so that they can find love for themselves and heal, okay, from all the past trauma, okay, because they continue to inflict pain on others because they haven't focused on any healing. Right? They've been very focused on feeding the ego and pride and the earthly desires. To mask. There's masking. King of Swords, King of Wands. So there is this say fire sign and air sign, masculine energy. Let's see what they have to say. What say you? Who goes there? I've always wanted to say that. Turn back around. Nine of Swords. Yeah, I would guess that, you know, the King of Swords is maybe an authority figure. Maybe there's someone in the legal system. Maybe there's someone who is saying like, hey, like, I see your point, but like, really, you know, I feel like there's someone who's holding someone else to account. And it's for all the shitty things that they've done in the past, that they continue to do, that they continue to say, like, it's like your name is still on their tongue. And it's like, enough already. Someone's in fear because, you know, they very much could be dealing with some legal issues or some sort of like something that's creating fear. Maybe someone is going to tell on them about what's been going on. Maybe someone's seeing things play out and they feel like they need to do the right thing. And maybe this person is afraid of the truth coming out, because the Nine of Swords is clarifying the Five of Swords, which is lying, deceit, betrayal, because someone was giving to someone behind the back, and this was someone that you might have been in a relationship with. So it's like this person did the most to take out the person who loved them the most. And so maybe this person here as the King of Swords is like, I see and know everything that was done, and it's almost like this person might tell on them, and that is their worst fear, because this energy knows a lot of what was done behind the scenes, all right, in the dark. Somebody knows. And somebody's gonna tell. Look at, we have an Emperor here. What do you want to say about this Emperor? There's also like an Emperor coming in for this Empress, and that also puts the fear of God into this person, because they know that once that happens, there's no coming for that. There's no like that offer's done. Like they can't bring the offer. I feel like this Emperor has everything that they need. They're just looking for the missing piece, and they very much could see you as that missing piece. They could be a Virgo. They don't have to be. But I would say that they're abundant in their own right, okay? They want to enjoy life and share their life with somebody. And I feel like this puts somebody else in this energy of like, how can anybody want to be with them? I have said and done the most in hopes to make them seem undesirable or unworthy, but it doesn't matter whatever they've said, right? And this is a fear of theirs. There actually could be some masculine and masculine energy here. This also could be like something that someone doesn't want to get out, or I'm not sure what that is exactly. I'm getting like there could be something going on behind the scenes there. Yeah, I'm getting like someone is feeling like there's a bit of remorse and regret, but I'm getting it's because they're being found out. It's not because they truly regret what was done. They just regret the fact that like people are finding out the truth and their charade is over, and they're also seeing that like you aren't what they said you were. In fact, people are watching, okay, and making up their own minds, because they know now that they can't trust whatever this person said, okay? And there's a tower happening, an ending. The Emperor is bringing in divine love. They may watch you from afar. There could be this energy that kind of like has gone through their own healing process even. And so they may have been someone who you've connected with, or they're aware of you, or they're observing you from afar. I feel like there is a downfall playing out here. And, you know, I feel like this is about going with the flow, all right? This is going with letting things crumble, right? So that they can be built back better, right? So whatever love, unrequited love you dealt with in the past, I'm getting like real love is knocking on your door. And you're going to be like, hello, hello. So, yeah, it's on the horizon, all right? I'm getting like, you'll be making plans. Plans are being made. Okay, I feel like, is this an upright or reverse? I feel like no matter what they say, no matter what they do, whatever they send your way, it's going to return back to them. Okay, so they are regretting the seeds that they have sown. All right, I feel like everything that they lied about, defamed, is coming back to them. People are talking about them now, whereas before you were the topic of conversation. Okay. I'm getting like there's this energy of you being unreachable, untouchable as well. Like you may have this energy blocked, so they can't access you, they can't call you, they can't talk to you. I'm getting like no contact. And then I have the Three of Wands, so I'm like unreachable. It's also like you gave them and held divine love for them, and they threw it away like it was garbage. So they like rejected a blessing. But you see this freedom as a blessing. And now after the fact, they see that you were the blessing, right? Yeah, 8-8 could be significant. I have the 8 of Swords in reverse. You are not trapped, stuck. You see freedom. You've been freed from the bounds. They tried to bind you. They tried to bind you or trauma bond you, but you found a way to work out of it. Like you worked yourself out of this. Like you were divinely guided to create something, and it helped get you free. So you see this experience now as a way of freedom, liberation. I'm getting liberation. You've been liberated and are on a new path, one that is aligned with your soul and your purpose. It's like you're ready for the adventure. You're ready for the quest. And you don't feel bad about anything. You have come to a place in your life where the past doesn't haunt you. You don't have any shame because you have done the work to free yourself from the past, right? That's kind of what the judgment is. It's about, I've done the inner work and I don't feel any shame about what I've experienced with this person. I let them go with compassion. You have accepted the lesson here. And maybe they're going to be, it's almost like they too want the freedom. They too want to be able to move on from this, but they're feeling trapped in their situation. They're feeling like, you know, they're stuck in the old paradigm. They're stuck in the old mindset. They're having a hard time seeing things differently and having a new perspective on life. Like they're stuck in the muck here. Sorry, you can't really see that. Stuck in the muck. So there's a need to kind of like they're not be able to move forward until they deal with what they need to deal with. And that is the Three of Cups. All right, so this would be whoever they were dealing with doing the shady shit. Like they're having to deal with these contracts, okay? They're having to deal with what they put out there is returning back to them. So they're having to deal with this. They're gonna have legal issues with this third party or this community, the friend group that they were dealing with. So as much as they would like to be free and fancy free, that is not the case. They have unresolved issues to deal with. Okay. They may have done things like immoral or illegal. I'm getting like that could be why the King of Swords is here. Is like, hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, there's this Magician and a Four of Wands. You have manifested your dream life and it is happening for you. And again, like they have done the most behind the scenes, behind your back, and behind even other people's backs to try to sabotage this, right? But they're up against a magician and they're protected by the Most High, and you have reached a pivotal moment and you're about to celebrate your best life, and they're not going to have any part of that. They're going to be dealing with legal issues with whoever party group they dealt with. It's like this energy wants to sneak away and come towards you in a lustful manner, because I have the Wands, King of Wands there, and try to try to leave this third party because they're not happy with the third party. They're miserable with the third party, right? They feel like they have no positive outlook on their life. And so they would very much like to sneak back to you. However, you've got an energy here that protects you, that surrounds you with energy that helps to transmute and alchemize whatever they send your way, because they still have these thoughts that are projected towards you. And I'm getting like alchemizing, transmuting, for the sake of whatever endeavors you've got going on. I feel like there's something that you're going to be celebrating. It could be a union. Could be celebrating a union here. I feel like things are picking up quickly. So you could also be recognized for your abilities. Like you could be someone who has a spiritual business of some kind. I feel like you may even be a teacher, a spiritual teacher. I'm getting like you may be working with others to do this. I feel like this is something that's picking up speed. There's messages, there's movement here, fast movement. Look at who it is. It's the Empress. Again, at the bottom of the deck. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. It's already like 56 minutes. How are my timers helping? They still have the wrong time. Time. Divine timing. All right, I just heard divine timing is playing out here. I'm like, why am I talking about the timers? Divine timing is at play. But things are in motion, meaning like there's no more waiting. There's no stagnancy. Like, you know, we're hopping, we're moving, we're going. All right, things are in motion. Look at, things are in motion, right? Things are always constantly in motion, right? There's a need to see things. There's something that's finishing out. And once this kind of like finishes out, then this is gonna come to fruition here. Look at passionate new beginning on its way to you. New beginning, new start, creative spark. Like, this is you having the magic wand and being able to yield it in the ways that you have been trained. Because you did go through a training, you did go through an initiation, you did go through an awakening. You're in your divine power now. All right, so it's kind of like use your wand wisely, okay? Because it's a powerful one and it can create as much as it can destroy. So it's like you're blessed with these abilities and gifts. So it's like we need to make sure that we are aware and conscious of the laws of the universe, one being the cause and effect. All right. There's a bit of that. You could be teaching these principles. You could be showing people how to learn these things, practice with these things, apply these things. Ooh, all right, all right, all right. Goodness gracious. They're looking for a certain card. What are you looking for? The Empress again? Oh, Lordy. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Look at 7 of Wands to the 6 of Wands. Like, you are standing up for a cause. Whatever you're standing up for, you have support. You're not doing it alone. You're being celebrated. You're being recognized for being devoted and committed to the cause, whatever cause that is. All right. You have divine favor, all right, as well. So this is you being celebrated, okay? Still at the bottom of the deck is the Empress. Ooh, the Moon. The Moon be illuminated things, especially from the subconscious mind. So your fears, your worries, your concerns, okay, is what I'm getting. What's being illuminated is the truth of the matter. What somebody did to break your heart, they're now realizing that what they did actually broke their own heart. Yeah. So out of out of all of this, they did the most to try to break your heart, but in reality, what's coming to their awareness is that they broke their own heart. They sabotaged themselves and their happiness. Because they had a happy family, they had a happy life, they had emotional fulfillment, but instead they took a gamble and they gambled your heart, which then they ended up losing in the end, and now they've broken their own heart. And there's an ending here that is contributing to their pain and their suffering. But sometimes we experience like pain and suffering because it's what helps us learn the lesson. It helps to enforce a lesson. It helps us to never forget, right? Like when you touch the stove and it's hot and you burn your fingers, you remember not to touch the stove again. It's like that. It's like, fuck around and find out energy. They're finding out and they're learning a very difficult lesson, okay? And this is justice playing out here, all right? So even though the Ten of Swords is like a gruesome looking card, if you look between the swords, you can see that there is some sort of light, and it's kind of like there's a light at the end of this tunnel. There is a blessing out of this. The blessing is that the person you chose wasn't for you, and so now they're being removed from your life in whatever way the divine sees fit. And now you know what love is and what love isn't. And that is the lesson that this person needed to learn. And sometimes you have to lose the best thing you ever had to learn the lesson. And that is what's fair and what's just here. Okay? I feel like they're going to be forced to walk away from something, that they prioritized at one point because of this heartache and betrayal they are going to experience, right? There's a lot of illusions here. There was a lot of false pretenses here. There was a lot of earthly desires that were prioritized here that caused some sort of misdirection and misguidance. Someone chose from their unhealed version of themselves to almost distract themselves because it looked better on the outside, but come to find out is very empty and dark on the inside. So they're learning that. They may be dealing with somebody who maybe puts them in competition, or they're the one still putting someone else in competition. So there's this like entertaining others. There's even a potential for like illusions here. So this could be like magic, if you will, but it doesn't have to be. Someone is realizing that like whatever they thought was a good choice is not a good choice for them. Right, here's the Eight of Cups after the Seven of Cups. Yeah, they're going to have to walk away from something. People, places, and things like the party group, the fun, the shenanigans. It's over. All right, we have a Queen of Cups here. All right, so I'm getting like they may be walking away from a Queen of Cups who would have originally been the Queen of Wands. Or they could be wanting to come towards a Queen of Cups, because they've left people, places, and things behind because of the shenanigans, right? Oh, I keep losing stuff. Look at, is this in the reverse? Look at, it's almost like someone isn't willing to see things from another perspective. So there may need to be accepting things for what they are and just moving on from the situation. And it could be with this Queen of Cups. Okay, so it's kind of like a refusing to gain a new perspective or see something from someone else's point of view. So it's almost like someone's going to be forced to leave. Okay, so there's that. I'm getting the masculine is the one that's leaving. I'm getting like someone's not willing to change their ways. Someone does dark shit behind the scenes. And so there's like impact to this. Okay. And I'm getting that like maybe someone doesn't want that life anymore. Right? Maybe somebody was part of these rituals and is like, I don't want to be used. I don't want to be part of that. I don't agree with this. Like, I don't want to be subjected to this. I'm getting like some dark energy that they have been getting into. I feel like there is this abandonment and rejection here for the sake of like entertaining and juggling others. So it's almost like they rejected and abandoned you and left you out in the cold. And now I'm getting like this is being returned to them in some way. All right. I do have an Ace of Pentacles and an Ace of Wands here. So I'm getting like sometimes this rejection is divine protection. And there is a blessing in all of this. So High Priestess. So maybe there's this like being able to take a different path, right? But in order to take that new path, there's resources available to you if you seek them out. You can continue to play the victim here, or you can do something different with your life. The choice is yours. So someone is being like reminded that they're the one that's in charge of their life and they can change direction anytime they want. But there's some work to do along the way. So you have to agree to work on yourself if you want change. If you want to, you know, have a better circumstance, then there's things that you need to change about yourself so that there's room for the new circumstance that you're trying to call in. There's also this energy that is very interested in like what you have going on. All right. It's almost like they may need access to your funds, but know this, they're still in this toxic energy. They still have some sort of bondage to this. There could be like a dark entity that is attached to them. So they may need to purge that. And the way to purge that is to do the healing. Right? Yeah, they want to come to the Queen of Pentacles because she's stable, secure, and abundant and has finances that they don't. Right? And so it's kind of like this energy is interested in like what you got going on because you're better off than them and they're in a bad way now. And they may seek you out because they might need your help. So make sure that you have boundaries, strong ones. First card out of this reading was the Queen of Swords. So you're going to need to understand. Yeah, you can be, yeah, you need to have strong boundaries when it comes to this energy. Like you've already learned what you need to learn with this dynamic, and it's their turn to learn, and you can't bail them out of their karma. This is something that they need to experience for themselves. Okay? So don't bail them out. They need to experience themselves. Yeah, look at. All right, so they dealt with a gold digger. They dealt with somebody who uses and abuses for the sake of personal gain. I feel like they may be, it's almost like this person was this energy and they attracted a match. Okay? They thought that they were going to win big. Okay? But all they did was win someone just like them. And so it was a mirror back to them to see what it's like being in a relationship with them, because otherwise they wouldn't have gained the perspective. It's kind of like they block themselves from seeing who they truly are because it's too painful. And so one way to show them how they show up is for them to deal with someone who's just like them. And, you know, always out for like personal gain, right? Like, doesn't matter what you do to get the money as long as you get the money and you look good doing it. Like, it's like false pretenses. It's like that false sense of security, right? So I'm getting, you know, there was, you know, they might have been someone that went after people who would make them look good, right? The appearances of things. And now they attracted and have been dealing with somebody who's just like them. All right. It's almost like what they said about you in the past is no longer true. And now it's funny, like they're going to have to like tuck their tail between their legs and like potentially come to you for help. And they're like, you're not worth anything. Like, you've got nothing going for you. And you're like, I got everything going for me. Like, what are you talking about? Right? That's that devil energy, right? That is working things behind the scenes, creating illusions and delusions about what's true, what's not true. Yeah, someone fell for, you know, some fake ass shit right here. They were meant to go through this so that they understood what's fake and what's real. If you want to be fake, we'll bring you fake. If you want to be real, then we'll bring you real. Right? High Priestess. Yeah. I feel, hi kitty cat. I feel like, hello. Here, I'm saying hello. He's so cute. Look at, you know what's going on. You know how to like return this stuff back. Right? Yeah. Look at, there's a lot of things coming to light. That's for sure. Your intuition is strong. Your gifts are strong. Like, there's secrets coming out about, you know, what these people have been up to, what they've been doing. Yeah. I feel like you keep things close to the chest. Not everything needs to be shared. The things you know are for you to know. And you have this way about you that, you know, you see things from both sides, and you have the ability to have a higher perspective because you've experienced both, right? You've experienced both. Yeah, look at the Hierophant in the reverse. This energy is realizing that they, you know, there isn't any loyalty here. There isn't any belief systems or believing in something above yourself. There's like this energy of like, what's the word? It's like self-gratification, right? I'm getting like there are laws above man, and I don't think they know what these are. I feel like they're going to be learning this the hard way. Yeah. I feel like their entire life is being affected. This is a very difficult spiritual lesson being learned here too. This might have been somebody who you're meant to work with. You may have had some sort of spiritual commitment contract here, but they refused to do the healing so that they're in the upright. So now they're like in the reverse here. And so this contract, the soul contract, is over with this person. All right? They violated the conditions of the soul contract. Okay? Because they prioritized this, which is their free will choice to do, right? And they're being manipulated and controlled by this. So, like, there's a bit of like sacrifice here. It's like they've been sacrificed. They've been infiltrated. They were tempted by the fruit of another, and they accepted it and they fell for it. And this is what's behind it all. Okay? So, yeah, the Hierophant would be in reverse. Because the devil doesn't care. The devil does not care what it destroys or how it destroys. Okay? So, this Empress here, you being freed from this energy was the best thing that ever happened to you. So, This rejection was your divine protection. I feel like the devil was trying to get to you, okay? But instead, they got to this person, okay? You were not the one that got infiltrated. They were. And now they have to deal with all that, okay? They have to deal with all that. Look at, you have a legacy to create. You have a destiny to fulfill. And you're going to do whatever it takes to fulfill it. And the devil knew that. The devil knew that you were coming here and you were going to fulfill your destiny. They did the most, all right, to try to prevent this from happening. But the divine feminine has risen. Rise of the divine feminine. Yes, sir. That's awesome. We'll just flip them over. Knight of Wands. Rise of the divine feminine, right? Going straight for that destiny, okay? Yes, there's obstacles, challenges in the way, but you have the gift of discernment. So you can see through these illusions to clarity and insight. Justice is playing out for the player, okay? And you don't need to worry about that anymore. You will receive news about potentially somebody dealing with the justice system or karma playing out or something going on here. Okay, and it could have something to do with those who try to create some sort of obstacles for you. I'm getting like they're the ones that are blocked now. All right, so, you know, that's you know, things being made fair. That's things being made just, okay? So you've moved on. You've learned what you've needed to learn. You've closed out your karmic contracts when it comes to this lesson, and you are better for it. And you are someone who may share your story, you may tell your story, you may support others, but I feel like whatever your calling is, you've answered it, and that's the most important thing. This was for the sake of waking you up to service, okay? And I'm getting like this very much could be a wake-up call for them in some way, shape, or form in this lifetime or the next, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. It was an hour and 18 minutes almost. So time flies when you're having fun. And I'll see you guys next time.